Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As we know, one of the best ways to improve your ability to play by ear would be to practice transcribing more songs. To put it simply, transcribing refers to listening to a song and attempting to write it out by ear. In this video, we'll run through some of my recommended steps to go about transcribing so that you'll hopefully learn how to do this more efficiently and painlessly. Before I dive right into how we can go about transcribing, I want to bring up a common misconception. There's actually no need to transcribe the accompaniment that we normally play in our left hand, and it is more efficient to just write out only the melody and the chords. In a way, I am recommending that we transcribe songs in the style of a fake sheet. Simply put, a fake sheet is a music sheet where only the melody and chords are written out, but not the accompaniment. Here's an example of a normal music sheet of Hey Soul Sister by Train, and notice that both the melody and accompaniment is written out for you. In contrast, here's a fake sheet of the same song, and notice that only the melody is written out in full, and the accompaniment in the left hand is missing. Instead, the chords replace the accompaniment and they are written out for you on top of the melody. The reason why I recommend transcribing chords instead of the entire accompaniment is because it is simply a more efficient way of doing things. Given some chords, we can learn some accompaniment patterns which can be applied to all chords, and there we will likely be able to create our own accompaniments rather than go through the pain of having to transcribe the entire accompaniment. Without further ado, let's dive right into the steps to transcribing. The first step here would be to split the song into its sections such as the introduction, verse, chorus, and so on. More often than not, different sections are repeated multiple times in each song and normally have the same melodies and chords with minimal differences. As such, I recommend that in order to not do double work, we transcribe different sections on your own and piece them together later rather than transcribe a song from start to end. The next step here would be to figure out the key of the song. To simplify things, there are 12 possible key signatures, and for each key signature, there are two possibilities, a major key and a minor key, which makes up a total of 24 possible keys. Of course, this doesn't apply to weird, experimental atonal songs that don't really have a key, but more of simpler, normal songs that we come across normally. First, we need to figure out if a song is in a major or minor key. If it sounds happy, bright, and optimistic, chances are that it is in a major key. But if it sounds sad, gloomy, or scary, chances are that it is in a minor key. After figuring out whether it's a major or minor key, we now need to figure out its key signature. There are 12 possibilities, and for those of us without perfect pitch, we probably need to experiment this on the piano. One tip that I have to improve your chances of finding the key more quickly would be to listen for the tonic note, which just refers to the first note of whichever key we are in. For instance, if we are in the key of C major, our tonic note would be C, and if we are in the key of E major, our tonic note would be E. The tonic note sounds more at home and final, gives us a feeling of resolution, and is often used as the final note of the entire song. If we can identify this tonic note by experimenting on the piano and comparing it with the tonic note, we will most probably be able to identify the key of the song. For instance, let's use Hey Soul Sister as an example. We skip straight to the last note here and try to find it on the piano. As there are only 12 possible notes on the piano, we only need to experiment with 12 different notes and find a note that has the same pitch as the tonic. Here, we realize that the note E sounds the most correct, and hence we can guess with some certainty that our song is in the key of E major. After figuring out the key and key signature of the song, we need to figure out the time signature. If we are trying to learn a pop song, chances are that it is in 4/4 time, which just means that there are 4 crotchet beats per bar, and we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 when playing the song. Of course, this doesn't apply to every song, as there are other songs in other time signatures, such as 3/4, 6/8, and so on. But if your song has been on a billboard before, chances are that its time signature is 4/4. To figure out the time signature, we simply need to experiment with different time signatures and count in our heads when the song is playing. Let's use Hey Soul Sister as an example, and let's try the 3/4 time signature first, which means 3 crotchet beats per bar. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Notice that this doesn't feel right, so let's try 4/4 instead. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4/4 time signature seems more correct and natural, and is thus more likely to be our correct time signature. After figuring out the key signature and time signature of the song, we can start figuring out the melody. The melody here consists of the notes and the rhythm, but let's tackle the notes first. For those of us who are just starting out with learning by ear and don't have a strong relative pitch yet, it might be better for us to try to find the notes through experimentation. In other words, we listen to each note one at a time, try playing certain notes on a piano, and check if the note that we just played matches the note in the song. One important thing we need to know here is that notes inside our key are much more likely to appear in a melody there are notes outside of our key statistically, so be sure to experiment with the notes inside our key first. However, as we progress and level up our relative pitch, we will slowly but surely be better able to identify notes by ear faster with less time needed for experimentation. Don't worry if you feel that you might be taking a little long to identify the notes inside the melody, as it is pretty normal to struggle a bit at first. Just know that as you progress and get better, the time taken to recognize these notes decreases exponentially, and soon enough, it will be second nature to you. As for those of you who are newer to transcribing rhythms, I recommend writing the rhythms and notes separately at the start, in order to not potentially confuse yourself, and moving on to write out both together only after you are more comfortable. Also, one tip I have for transcribing rhythms would be to split each bar into quavers for easier visualization. For instance, for songs in a 4/4 time signature, I mentally split each bar into 8 quavers, and I count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, while trying to figure out the rhythms for each song section. After figuring out both the notes in a melody and their rhythm, remember to combine them and write them down. Now that we have the melody for each unique section of the song, what's left is to figure out the chords for each section. For some pop songs, the same chord progression is used throughout the introduction, verse, chorus, and so on. But for others, chord progressions may vary from section to section. As a rule of thumb, if the song is a pop song that has been on the billboards before, chances are that its chords will be pretty simple, and some experimentation with a few common chord progressions might get you the answer. I've previously made a video detailing 4 different techniques that we can use to drastically improve our chances of guessing chords and chord progressions correctly, so do check it out here. Remember that the more you transcribe, the better and faster you get at learning songs by ear, so do make it a point to be consistent and practice this frequently. As one of my favorite quotes go, action leads to motivation, not the other way around. Don't wait for your motivation to magically appear out of thin air, and instead take baby steps and start figuring out the key to whichever song you wish to learn, and the motivation will follow. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.